She told me I ruined her for other men, but still left me like I was forgettable. I remember the last time she said my name, not whispered in the dark, not tangled in sheets or drenched in that velvet hush that used to make the world disappear. No, this time it was different, cold, clinical, like she was reading it off a prescription bottle she'd decided she didn't need anymore. We were in her apartment. Her scent still lingered on my clothes, lavender, vanilla, and something deeper I could never name. That scent still clings to the inside of my nostrils like smoke, like a warning. She sat across from me on the couch, the same couch where she once straddled me, breathless, shaking, whispering things I still can't forget. That day, though, she didn't look at me like she used to. Her eyes didn't see me, not really. They looked through me, like I was a ghost in her living room. "You're intense," she said. "I need less intensity." It didn't make sense. Days earlier, she'd wrapped herself around me like I was oxygen. Said I made her feel too much, like her skin was too tight when I looked at her. She used to beg me not to stop, not talking, not touching, not seeing her. And then she vanished. Slowly. Messages read but not replied to. Calls dropped with a sorry, busy. Until I stopped trying. I told myself it was just how things go. But then, the dream started. She'd show up at the foot of my bed. Not like a memory, not beautiful or soft, but pale, stiff, smiling too wide. She'd whisper things, but the words were wrong, garbled, like tape rewinding. And then I'd wake up breathless, my back soaked in sweat, the air thick with that familiar lavender vanilla smoke. It didn't feel like grief. It felt like being followed. Then last night, someone knocked on my door at 3:33 a.m. I live on the 8th floor. The security gate downstairs was always locked. Always. But when I opened the door, no one was there. Just a single strand of long, dark hair lying across the welcome mat. Exactly the way it used to fall across her chest when she leaned over me. I didn't sleep after the knock. I sat on the floor by the door, that strand of hair between my fingers. I told myself it had to be coincidence. A neighbor. A prank. But I couldn't shake the feeling, that humming pressure behind the eyes, like something watching me just out of frame. At dawn, I threw the hair in the trash. Took out the trash. Bleached the mat. I didn't want anything of her left behind. But the scent, that damn lavender and smoke, it lingered. Not in the hallway, not in my room, in me. Like I was breathing her in from the inside. The next day, I caught myself doing something I haven't done in months, scrolling through our old messages. I didn't even realize I was doing it until I saw one I don't remember ever sending. It was from me, apparently. "I'm sorry I hurt you. I never meant to make you stay." Timestamp, 2:47 a.m. the night before. But I was asleep. Or, I thought I was. I stared at the screen for a long time. Then I tried calling her number again. I don't know why. It's been disconnected for weeks. But this time, it rang. Not long, maybe twice, before a woman answered. Not her voice. Not exactly. It was her cadence, her breath behind the words. But it sounded like someone mimicking her, mocking her, as if her voice had been stitched together from pieces of old recordings. The voice said just one thing. "You see me, right?" Then static, deafening, crackling static. And then silence. I stared at the phone until it went black. Something was wrong. Not just with the call. With everything. My apartment. My skin, the way mirrors feel off lately, like my reflection hesitates just a second too long. Like it's thinking, I haven't told anyone. Who would believe me? She's gone. But she's not. She's in the messages I didn't send. In the voice that isn't hers but knows how she sounded when she moaned my name. In the dreams that smell like her skin. I don't know if I'm haunted by her memory, or if she never really left. I told myself I was being paranoid. I unplugged the Wi-Fi, powered down my phone. I even slept on the couch, as if that could fool the dreams. I didn't sleep well, though. Every time I closed my eyes, I heard her voice, layered, distant, glitching. It was like trying to sleep through a thunderstorm you know isn't outside. The next morning, I woke up to the TV on. I never turned it on. It flickered black and white, not snow, exactly. Just light pulsing like a slow heartbeat. I stared at it, still groggy. Then something shifted. In between the flashes, I saw her. Just her face. Up close. Too close. Not smiling. Not sad. Just staring. Like I was behind the screen and she was on the other side watching me. Her eyes were glassy. Dead. Except they blinked. Slowly. Deliberately. I couldn't move. I don't know if it was sleep paralysis or fear or something worse. But I just sat there, watching her watch me. Then the screen went black. Completely. The reflection staring back at me wasn't mine. Not exactly. It had my face. My hair. My tired eyes. But its mouth was open. And something wet dripped down its chin. I launched the remote at the TV so hard the screen cracked. It didn't shatter, just froze. Her eyes still staring out from beneath the fractured glass, distorted. After that, I left, just walked out with nothing but my keys. I drove for hours. I didn't care where. I just needed to feel like I was somewhere else. But I couldn't outrun it. The smell followed me into the car. And then my radio, which had been broken since January, crackled to life. A voice, soft and familiar, whispered through the static. "You said you'd never leave me." I swerved onto the shoulder and almost threw up. I didn't say that. She did. That night, months ago, the last time she ever fell asleep beside me. She curled her fingers in mine, half asleep, and murmured it into my neck. I remember because I didn't answer. I didn't know how. Now I think maybe that silence said more than I realized. Because if she's really gone, if she really left, then who? Or what? Keeps talking like she's still here. I didn't go home. I checked into a cheap motel off the highway. One of those places that still uses metal keys and smells like moldy carpet and loneliness. The front desk clerk didn't look up once. I think he knew better. The room was quiet, but not in a peaceful way. More like the air was holding its breath. I laid on the bed and stared at the ceiling until my eyes burned. I tried not to think about her. Not the smell, not the voice, not her glassy eyes frozen in my TV. It didn't work. I woke up around 2 a.m. to the sound of tapping. 3 soft taps. Wood on wood. Like someone knocking on the dresser drawer. I didn't move at first. I told myself it was the heater or the pipes or my imagination. Anything but what it really sounded like. But then I heard it again. Tap, tap, tap. And then, a voice, muffled but clear. "It's open now." I shot up, heart hammering, and yanked the drawer open. Nothing. Empty. Except for a key. Old, rusted, wrapped in a lavender ribbon. I didn't want to touch it, but I couldn't stop myself. My fingers closed around it like I'd done it before, like it belonged in my hand. That's when I remembered. Her place. That locked door in her hallway. The one she always said was for storage. "Just junk," she'd laugh. "You don't want to see my embarrassing clutter." I never questioned it. Until now. I don't know why I did what I did next. Maybe it was guilt, or curiosity, or something else. I drove straight to her apartment building. I still had the spare key she made me, the one on a chain she used to wear around her neck. I shouldn't have gone in, but I did. Everything looked exactly the same. Plants wilting, couch still indented where she used to curl up in my hoodie, a coffee mug in the sink, stained like it hadn't been touched in weeks. But there was something off about the air, like it hadn't been moved in a long time. The hallway to the storage room was darker than I remembered, colder. The door looked different, too, like the wood had warped or breathed, like it had been waiting. I pulled out the ribbon-wrapped key. It slid in without resistance. The door creaked open. Inside, there were no boxes. No junk. Just a mirror, tall, framed in something that looked like bone. And hanging in front of it, on a single nail, was her necklace, the one with my key on it. I reached for it. And then the mirror blinked. Not me. Not my reflection. Her. Mouth stitched shut. Eyes wide with something between rage and pleading. She mouthed one word. "Run." I ran. Down the hallway. Through her apartment. Barely remembering to lock the door behind me. I didn't look back. I didn't want to see if her reflection had followed me. I just ran until I reached the stairwell. My legs burned. My chest felt like it was caving in. But that wasn't fear. That was memory. I remembered that mirror. Not just vaguely, clearly. Like a flashbulb going off behind my eyes. We'd stood in front of it once, during a fight. I thought it was a different room. A different place. I remember yelling. Her crying. Something sharp in her hand. Something wet on my face. And her whispering. "Don't forget this. Not even if I make you." I think she meant it. Because I did forget. Until now. I got back to the motel, locked every door and window, turned off every mirror, every screen. I sat in the corner of the bathroom with the lights on, shaking, trying to remember what she made me forget. I went through photos, old texts, journal entries, anything that could anchor me to what was real. And that's when I found it. An old voicemail. One I thought I deleted months ago. It started normal, her voice, soft, teasing. "You're probably asleep, or ignoring me again." She laughed. "Anyway, I left something for you. In case I ever disappear." Then static. Then silence. Then a second voice. Not hers. Mine. "You don't want to know what she showed me. You don't want to remember. But you will." Click. My hands went numb. I played it again. Same thing. But this time, I noticed something else. A faint sound in the background, barely audible. Breathing. Ragged. Wet. too close to the mic. It wasn't part of the message. It was behind it, like something was listening in, with me, even then. I don't know what's worse, the possibility that she was hiding something from me, or that I helped her hide it. Because tonight, I found something in my jacket pocket, something I swear I didn't put there. A Polaroid of me, sleeping, but not here, not in the motel, not even in my apartment. I was asleep on her couch, and standing behind me in the frame was her, but her eyes were entirely black. I burned the photo. I didn't think. I just lit it with a match in the motel sink and watched it curl and blacken into ash. But even as the flames ate her face, those black eyes stayed burned into my mind like a stain you can't scrub out. I wanted to believe it was a trick, a fake. But I know that couch. I know that blanket. I even recognized the little scar on my arm from when I broke a glass in her kitchen. It was me, but I don't remember it happening. And if I don't remember, who does? I didn't sleep. Around 4 a.m., I heard voices again, not through the walls. Inside the room. Not clear. Not full sentences. Like snippets of a conversation I was never invited to. Laughter, a moan, a harsh whisper. And her name, whispered like a warning. I got up and checked every corner, every drawer, every crack in the wall. Nothing. Then the bathroom light flickered on by itself. The mirror, which I had covered with a towel, was uncovered. Something had moved it. Written across the glass, in condensation, that there was no steam, no water, were 5 words. She's still inside of you. I didn't scream. I think I forgot how. My voice felt locked away somewhere deep in my chest. And then, like someone pressed play on a memory reel, I was back. Not physically, but in my head. The motel dissolved and I was standing in her bedroom. But it looked different. Wrong. The walls were pulsing slightly, like lungs. Her bed was covered in rose petals. No, not petals. Feathers. Black ones. She was sitting on the edge, back to me, whispering something to the air. I took a step forward. My voice came back, distant and hoarse. What are you doing? She turned her head. Her face was blurred, not like a glitch. More like smeared, as if someone had dragged a paintbrush across it. But I knew it was her. I felt her. And she said, you saw it once, and you made me forget. You buried it in the place you don't go. But it's still there, waiting. I blinked, and I was back in the motel, on the floor, clutching something. It was the ribbon-wrapped key again, only this time, it was wet, and smelled like dirt. I think I know what she meant. The place I don't go. The woods behind her old family house. The one she told me her parents sold. The one she said was too haunted by history. I thought it was metaphor. But now I'm not so sure. Because I dug something with her once. Out there. And now I think I might need to go back and see what we buried. The woods behind her childhood home were deeper than I remembered. Everything felt closer now. The trees too tall. The sky too narrow. The path we used to take was gone. Swallowed. I had to cut my way through brambles, the thorns biting into my jacket like they recognized me. She brought me here once. Just once. We were high. Laughing. Young and stupid. She kissed me against a tree that had initials carved into the bark, none of which were ours. She told me her mother warned her not to go past the black fence. But we did anyway. And we found a clearing. Flat. Dead quiet. No birds. No wind. Just waiting. That night, she made me dig. I thought it was a game. A weird, intimate thing. She said we were burying a secret. I never asked what it was. Until now. I found the place again barely. The earth there hadn't healed. The dirt was still loose. Still soft, like it had never wanted to keep what we gave it. I started to dig. And the smell hit me first. Not death. Not rot. Something sweeter. Familiar. Lavender. I kept digging. 3 feet down. My shovel hit something solid. Wood. I froze. My hands were shaking so bad I dropped the flashlight. It flickered in the dirt, casting long shadows like fingers around the edges of the grave. I cleared more earth. It was a box. Small. Handmade. Nailed shut sloppily, with black ribbon tied around it. I pried it open. Inside were 3 things. Her phone, the one she lost months before she disappeared. A necklace I'd never seen before, with a small silver charm shaped like an eye. A photograph of me, younger, eyes wide, mouth sewn shut in black marker. And on the back of the photo, written in her handwriting, if you remember this, it's already too late. Then I heard it. Breathing. Not mine. Slow. Wet. Right behind me. I didn't turn around. I couldn't. The sound crept closer, leaves crunching under feet that didn't walk so much as drag. I clutched the box to my chest like it could protect me. Then I heard her voice. Soft. Close. Inside my ear. You should have let me stay buried. I dropped the box. When I looked down again, the items were gone. Just dirt. Just leaves. Just silence. But I still feel her fingers on my shoulder. Still smell her perfume in my car. Still dream of a version of her with no face. And black feathers growing from her spine. I tried to leave the woods. Really, I did. But the trees didn't let me. Every path curved back on itself. Every landmark I passed reappeared minutes later. I marked a tree with my pocket knife, a single deep slash, only to find that same mark on a dozen other trunks. Some fresh, some faded, some bleeding. And the worst part? I didn't panic, because some part of me remembered this. The feather room wasn't in her house. It was here, out in the trees, buried in that moment we both erased. She told me once, long ago, that her family came from a line of women who were seen but not believed. She joked about witches, about old Slavic myths, about binding rituals and cursed bloodlines. I thought she was just being dramatic. That was her thing. But the ribbon, the eye-shaped charm, the things in the box, they weren't stories. They were tools. The first time we came here, I think she was trying to leave something behind. But now it wants back in. I eventually found a clearing I didn't recognize, darker than before, the trees crowding like voyeurs. In the center stood a single structure. Not a house. Not a shed. More like a mausoleum. Made of stone and bone whitewood. Covered in black feathers, as if something inside had tried to grow wings and tear its way out. The door was ajar. Inside, everything was silent. Dead leaves lined the floor. The walls were carved with names. Some in English. Some in Cyrillic. One of them was hers. Another was mine. In the center, a circle. Charcoal black. Symbols etched into the dirt. And in the middle of it, a chair. Her chair. I recognized it. We once used it in a game she liked to play. She called it the Throne of Forgetting. She'd sit in it naked and ask me to tell her stories until she disappeared in them. Until her body stopped shaking. Until her past stopped clawing through her skin. That was our private ritual. Beautiful. Messy. Now, the chair was full of feathers. Black. Wet. Still twitching. And on the seat, her journal. I opened it. Page after page of scribbled phrases. Overlapping. Obsessive. The same sentence repeated dozens of times. He won't remember what he helped me do. And then, one final page. Tidy. Careful. If you're reading this, it means the binding failed. It means the thing we buried wasn't the only one. It means I left something inside of you, and it wants out. I dropped the book, because the moment I read that, I felt it. A flutter. In my chest. Not metaphorical. Actual. Like wings. Trying to open. I didn't run. I don't think I could have. My legs weren't mine anymore. My heartbeat didn't follow a normal rhythm. It pulsed to her cadence, the way she used to breathe when she was asleep beside me. That slow, broken inhale like she was afraid she'd wake up in the wrong body. I looked down at my hands. Feathers. Not many, just a few, growing from the base of my wrist, soft and oily and wrong. I yanked them out. The pain was sharp, clean. But when I looked again, more had grown in. I screamed. But the voice that came out wasn't mine. It was hers. I don't mean it sounded like her. I mean it was her. Perfectly replicated. Whispering through my own throat like she was testing it out from the inside. See, the voice said. Now you remember. The chair in the feather room creaked behind me. I turned. No one was there. But the smell was lavender and copper and ash. And on the walls, the names had shifted. They weren't just etched in anymore. They were moving. My name pulsed like it was being written over and over from the inside of the stone. Her name flickered, glitching like a broken film reel. Then, all at once, I remembered the night it happened. She didn't fade away. She bled out in that room. In the chair. While I held her hand. While she said, if I'm not enough, maybe you can carry it. I thought it was metaphor. But she was literal. She didn't just die. She left herself inside me. Not her soul, not exactly. Something older. Hungrier. Something her bloodline had carried for generations. She was the last to hold it. Until she couldn't anymore. And I loved her too much to say no. So I helped her perform the binding. I let her bury it in me. And then I forgot. Until now. The thing inside me twitched. It wasn't just wings now. I felt limbs. Fingers. A mouth. And it spoke, not out loud, but directly into my skull. One more death. That's all I need. I dropped to my knees, retching into the dirt. But no blood came up. Just feathers. So many feathers. They coated the ground like a carpet. Like a nest. And far off, I heard someone crying. A girl's voice. But not hers. Not exactly. Younger. Smaller. Me? I wasn't supposed to remember. I never was. But now it's all here, rushing at me. The faces, the names, the whispers. The thing inside me that has always been here. The thing I thought was her, but isn't. It never was. The voice is still inside my head. No, not just a voice. It's her voice. The one I loved. The one I couldn't bear to lose. And now I'm finally seeing it for what it is. She never disappeared. She never left. She just became me. The truth was there the whole time, buried in the spaces between us. She never died. She was never even human. That thing inside her was always what she was meant to be. The thing that chose me, chose to merge with me. The thing that grew, fed, and festered until I was just another piece of her. She wasn't the last of her kind. She was the first. The one who cracked open the veil, the one who found a door between life and death, and the one who dragged me through it with her. She didn't make me forget because she had to. She made me forget because she knew I would never have agreed. So she buried it in me. And now? Now I'm the one who will carry it. I stand in the clearing, everything still as death itself. The chair, the feathers, the mark on the wall, it's all mine now. I reach up and touch my neck, where the necklace with the eye-shaped charm used to be. It's there now. I didn't put it there. She did. Her hand, buried so deep inside me that I can't tell where I end and where she begins. The girl's crying grows louder, but it's not from the woods anymore. It's coming from inside me. I pull my jacket tight around my chest, but the wings are there, pressing at my ribs. I can feel them in my skin. It's time. I don't fight anymore. I can hear her laugh, soft, gentle, like it used to be when we were alone. Her voice spins around me like it's always been here, wrapped around every corner of my soul. But it's not her. It never was. I can hear her whisper again, inside me now, but this time, I don't close my eyes. She's here. You're the last one. Now? You've always been the last one. And suddenly, everything falls quiet. The woods, the wind, the voices. The last thing I hear is a breath, not mine, not hers. Ours.